Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is your guy Keenan Lambert, and in this video I just want to talk about some Cuba updates. Alright, I've noticed some things changing as I've come here over the years, and right now at this juncture things have gone to an extreme, and I just want to discuss it a little bit. In Cuba, because of the lack of tourism, there is a complete slowdown in the economy. The haves, all right, are actually being affected. We like to say haves versus the have-nots. Well, the entire economic system here in Cuba has sort of been disrupted by the actions of you know who. There are a lot of hardworking, industrious women who are out there, they're doing the right things, and when I say doing the right things, I mean doing things that are legal in order to make money. Okay, and those individuals, we take our hats off to them. They are the bedrock of our society. Right now, from what I'm noticing, I noticed that the women of Cuba have it the worst. Okay, as is the case in other third world nations, women don't benefit from having available the best of opportunities. Now, granted, Cuba is a place where you can go to school for free, right? But your education level, right? More education doesn't necessarily mean more money. Okay, here, hustle often defines or dictates the money that you end up receiving. And then you have another situation where there are a lot of young women, right? There are a lot of young women who may have had children early in their latter teenage years, and they're in their early 20s, and they're in do what you have to do mode in order to make do for themselves and their children. So with the collapse of the economy, many women are making the decision to go ahead and go abroad, right? Go abroad and work in order to gain money. Now, those individuals that are here and doing illegal things, they're going abroad, and they're also doing illegal things as well. They're engaging in certain red aspects of the economy, from what I notice in other countries. There are a couple nations that Cubans that can go to without requiring a visa. Okay, so they're doing that, from what I understand, in increasing numbers in places in South America. Now, many of them are not accustomed to the 9-to-5 type of lifestyle, so they are again engaging in the life that they know in order to gain capital. But in engaging in this, they're actually exposing themselves to hazards that they never necessarily experienced before. So there are nations that are essentially hacked out of the Amazonian jungle, okay? And I'm not talking about Brazil, but there's a particular nation that Cubans can go to. They are flocking, women I'm talking about, they're flocking to this nation, and they are engaging in the economy that they know. Now, what I understand is that they're engaging in contracts that are super exploitive. Okay, so they have to perform at a high level, and in many cases they might go 2 days without earning any money for themselves in actuality. So they're engaging in these contracts with individuals who invite them out. Okay, they invite them out, they go to these locations, and then they are stuck. They're stuck in a position that maybe they don't necessarily have any experience in, if it makes sense. I have to use very, very coded language when we're talking about this because of the sensitive nature of it. But many women essentially are making the choice to go ahead and move themselves out of their home nation, which is here, where their family is, to go abroad and engage in these ultra exploitative contracts. And then on the flip side, you have young sisters, right, early 20s, flocking from other provinces and coming into Havana to see what's going on. Okay, they take the couple thousand peso trip on a yellow school bus, right, or a repainted yellow school bus. They get here, then they link up with whatever family that they have. They stay with them, right? It could be temporarily, depending on how they configure it, right? But they're here looking for work. Okay, they're here looking for work. They're in the streets, and they're doing whatever they need to do in order to gain money. Now, there are a lot of tourists that come here, they see this and they see it as sort of like, oh, this is a buffet, this is great. For me, being of a Caribbean background, I come here and I see this, it definitely does drag at the heartstrings, because as I've said in other videos, okay, had one of my ancestors decided, hey, you know what, not much is going on in Jamaica, let me go check out Cuba, and stayed in Cuba, then I'd be Cuban, right? There are many individuals from other islands who made that choice. Okay, you see many of their present-day descendants in Santiago de Cuba, in Guantanamo. Guantanamo is actually one of the poorest provinces right now. Okay, Banes is actually one of those towns that are primarily made up of migrants from other islands, right? So, very easily I could have become Cuban. Okay. With the decision being made by my ancestors, right? So I definitely feel for these young ladies. They come here and they're doing what they have to do in order to get by. As many of you know, here in Cuba, there are a lot of mosquito-borne diseases, okay, mosquito-borne illnesses. And here, one that is really popular would be operuche. Okay, that's probably the most serious, and you have dengue, and then you have a couple others. The product that I use to keep myself safe while I'm here is STEM. Okay, STEM is oil-based, so you might feel a little bit hotter, right? Skin-wise, you might be a little bit more prone to sweating while you're wearing this on your skin, but it doesn't have all those harsh chemicals. It's 100% natural. I've been using it for years, and that's why I've been able to come here, do everything that I do, and not catch any of the mosquito-borne illnesses. And now for many of these young ladies, being from a slower pace environment, right, where money is just not easy to come by, for them to come here and have amounts of money thrown at them as per their labor that they haven't seen, it can become addictive. Okay, it can become addictive. They don't necessarily want to engage in whatever they're doing, right? But they leave their province, they come to Havana, they're making more money than they've seen, right? Then there is that sort of addiction. I don't know how many of you have ever been to a casino before, right? You don't necessarily like gambling, right? But then once you get that little hit of a jackpot, right, then you're always sort of left chasing that high, right? And for many of these young ladies, when they come here, there is chasing that high. Okay, you also see people that engage in petty theft, okay, or maybe in some cases grand larceny. They have this sort of same addictive behavior. Now, for men, there tend to be more opportunities for them. Okay, with men here in Havana, there's a whole bunch of jobs related to construction, related to taking care of spaces, maintenance, a lot of things that men can get into. Of course, women could do these things, but they just don't because of what social norms look like here. Now, at the same time, the majority of jobs that are in the service industry are dominated by women here in Cuba, right? But since the United States has done everything in its power, aside from invade, in order to crush the tourism industry, okay, you see that individuals who are engaging in tourism do not earn money. They're not moving ahead. They're not getting those tips that they were getting previously. So when I'm here in Cuba, I make sure that I try to throw a little bit of extra on there, because I know that people are hurting. It's maybe $5 more out of my pocket that I wouldn't have spent, but at the end of the day, I know that it's going towards the right cause. Okay, and I prefer that a young woman, right, who could be my sister, my cousin, maybe my distant cousin, right, is working and not doing something illegal in the streets, right? So I'll throw that extra $5, because why not? At this current time, flights are no longer going out of Canada to get here, so individuals have to fly from their Canadian airports, Toronto, Pearson, Montreal, Calgary, etc., to Miami, generally via American Airlines, and their itinerary will forward them on to Havana, right? So just go on AA.com, type in YYZ, Toronto as your home airport, and your final destination is Havana, right? You just go ahead, you get the visa, you do your D via Heroes form, you make sure that you take care of your stay. A lot of hotels right now are closing because they just simply don't have people to service, and it costs more money to run the hotel to keep the generator going. So make sure you go ahead and you book your Airbnb. Now, you guys can stay where I stay in the Hall of Champions. The Hall of Champions has expanded. Okay, it's gotten a lot bigger. Okay, you can do whatever you like to do. Just make sure that you're prepared. Okay, make sure that you bring the products that you need to take care of yourself, because right now things are not ideal here in Cuba. Okay, Cuba is very much affected by the new embargo, the lengths that the United States is going to in order to injure the place. Okay, it's affecting everybody in the population. Okay, not just the sufferers. And as a tourist, people are now focusing in on you when they see you, right? They're trying to get your attention. They're trying to ask you for, a couple pesos when you're just walking past them in the streets, because folks are really down bad, and there isn't that circulation of money just pinging in every which direction right now because of the economic situation and because of the price of gasoline. I love you guys. I want to see you guys in the comment section. Ask your questions. Ask me whatever you got to ask. I'm your guy here on the ground here in Cuba. I'll see you soon in the Hall of Champions. Peace out.